Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome to Life According to Cree, the podcast. I am your host, as always, Miss Cree Cole. Be sure to like, comment, and share and subscribe to Life According to Cree TV on YouTube for our latest episodes, as well as keep your eye out for what's going on as far as Life According to Creed, the podcast on all other social media platforms. I'm a little tired to tonight, but nonetheless, um, I also want to give a shout out to all the small business owners. I myself am also a small business owner. I am the owner of Life According to Creed, the podcast, as well as Life the Brand. So make sure that you go to my social media outlets and check that out. I also have a website where you can go on because Life According to Creed, the platform itself is all about self-care, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and blah, 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 et cetera, all the things you need to encompass being a full person, because when you learn how to love yourself correctly, it translates into how you love others. So make sure that you check that out on the website. It has weekly self care tips, um, monthly ways to cope with different obstacles that may come your way, including a whole nother set of services that I currently offer to the public virtually. So please make sure that you go check that out. But as for right now and in this moment, we are going to talk about the TP effect. And I know that you're saying to yourself, when you saw the title, you were like, what in the world is a TP effect? TP, no copyright, no copyright infringement intended. TP is short for the Tyler Perry effect. And tonight I want to talk about being the heroine of your own story. A lot of times we get very, very caught up in what he did, what she did, what they did. Um, and we tend to expect certain things out of people that we probably should not expect from them, especially if our dealings with them translated into a difficult situation that we are trying to work through. Um, and the reason why I reference Tyler Perry is because Tyler Perry has been notorious. I'm not so much a fan of the sitcoms or the melodramas that are actually on TV, but I was a huge and am a huge fan of all of the stage plays, as well as the movie adaptations of those stage plays. And one thing that Tyler Perry put into all of those stage plays that translated over into actual movies, he kept the theme of being the heroine in your own story. There wasn't a single woman in any of those film adaptations, for the people who did not see the plays, um, where they had to be saved by another individual. Um, there is always that pretty much all of them pretty much kept the same storyline, and a lot of people like to joke about that. But regardless of whether Medea was in it, Medea wasn't in it, whatever, there's always a certain storyline, and then there is a plot twist. There's a moment of enlightening, and then there is peace. And one of the other underlying themes of all of his stage plays and film adaptations was forgiveness. Not necessarily forgiveness for the other person, but forgiveness for yourself. So that's kind of what I wanted to dive into as far as the subject matter for the night. Please, oh, and also please be sure to comment, share, um, my website is and my YouTube channel, all of my social media platforms are completely interactive. Let's get the conversation started, because a lot of the episodes that I have are in order to just get the conversation started and have a way of being able to communicate with each other, or for you to be able to communicate with the people around you and to express what you're going through, what to say, where you're at, what you're trying to get done, so that everybody's on the same playing field within your life. But nonetheless, like I was saying, being the heroine of your own story. A lot of times we get a bum rap. Um, right now in this day when we say that we're going on a healing journey. Um, and I know that the reason why announcing that you're in a healing journey or announcing anything, whether it's positive or negative, no matter what the platform is that you're announcing it on, a lot of people tend to take it on as being negative because it's like, okay, if you're doing this for you, why is it necessary to tell everybody if this is a walk that you're taking, this is a journey that you're taking. And then that's met with a lot of criticism. It can be met with a lot of pushback from the people around you. Um, One thing that I've learned as far as healing is concerned is that everybody isn't going to be okay with your healing, because if they know that they have been of any type of stressor, any if they've provided you with any type of pain, if they've given you any type of discomfort, those people around you that weren't necessarily the best for you feel the most strain and give the most pushback because they fear what their position would now be in your life if you seriously take advantage of the time and space that you have and say, you know what, I am going to focus on me. And one of the ways that people tend to come for you when you say things like that I'm going to start focusing on me, is they automatically attach it to being selfish. They automatically attach it to when let me tell you something. When you tell people that you're going to start focusing on you and focusing on your hopes, your dreams, your mental health, your physical health, or what have you, and the first thing they do is say that you're going to cut people off and that you're being selfish and that you're going to take time away from this, when they start naming off things that are negative or trying to paint what your journey is going to be as being a negative thing, that's definitely a cause for pause. That's definitely a cause for a red flag. Those are people that you put, we're going to talk about it more in depth, but I'm just going to run through it right now. Those are those people that you make sure that you set over in purgatory. You sit them over in the waiting room. You sit them over in the waiting room, because those are the people, unfortunately, no matter how much you love them, no matter what type of relationship you have with them, no matter what their relationship is to you in your life, whether it's a family member, a parent, a sister, a brother, a cousin, um, aunt, uncle, grandparents, whether or not it's your friend you've had for 25 years, it's of course when you say that you're going to make a drastic change in your life and a person is a part of your life, of course people are going to question that choice, but it's all in the manner in which they question it. You know, is whether or not they sound like they have concern for you or if their concern is with themselves. And we have to be very mindful of that, because a lot of times we'll attach our healing journey to other people, hence the tagline of making sure that we're the heroine in our own story. um One of the first things I did when I decided I was going to take my own healing journey, um or I was going to try to identify the things that make me unhappy so that I don't have to feel that type of unhappiness again. Because there's no possible way to prepare yourself for every single unhappy moment that you will have. There's no way to say for certain that you won't have the same experience that you've had before. The goal in healing is not to avoid those situations, because we don't have that much control over life. The real goal is to find out what works best for us as far as managing our emotions, how managing our emotion affects the other things around us, like our family, our career, our goals, etc. And then using those things that we've learned about ourselves, and also that when those types of situations arise again, because let me tell you something. You can go through the same thing with 10 different people that that take 10 different approaches and bring you back to the same place. And that can be discouraging because that'll make you start questioning yourself. But the thing is not to question yourself. The thing is to really, truly, truly focus on learning about yourself, what your triggers are, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel not so good. Focusing on those things and how you manage when those bad things arise. That way, when that 11th person comes through with a whole nother approach and you think that you're in the clear, you're in a safe zone, and then they come around with you with that same BS, your whole world no longer falls apart. That is what healing is. And that's why when people start to yell and scream about at the top of their lungs, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm done with that, I'm over that. You can be completely over a situation and not have the same feelings about it that you once had. But the situation itself is not exclusive to that one time or that one person. um it can form again in different ways. The goal in healing, which is an ongoing process, is to have a level of maturity to where things don't affect you the way they affected you before. Back in the day, we used to just call it maturing. Just that simple. We called it maturing. But they have so many different labels that they put on things now that I think that people tend to get a little bit confused. And that's where being the heroine of your own story comes into play. Because when you're the heroine of your own story, you don't need the tribe. You love the tribe. You have the tribe. Say the tribe gives you comfort, the tribe gives you support, but they have to have something solid to support. Does that make sense? I remember I used to have a trainer that used to ask stuff like that, but like, does that make sense? And then she would just keep on talking. And I found myself doing the same thing. But it's a where we mess up as far as our tribes are concerned. We expect for our tribes to hold us together. That's not supposed to be the purpose of your tribe. The tribe is there to support what is already there, not to necessarily fill in those gaps. It's your responsibility to fill in those gaps. And what you choose to fill in those gaps with will determine how you go through the rest of your life, and how, if you have certain situations that come up that affect you profoundly, how you handle them. You should never find yourself in a place where you not only don't know what to do, but you don't know where to go in order to get help. You should never find yourself in that place. Even if you find yourself in that place, once you find yourself in that place and you have decided, okay, I don't never want to feel this way again. I don't never want to feel this way about this in particular situation or situations like this again. You have to have a plan. You have to have a plan for you. And with some people, like people talk about, distancing yourself and how that's not healthy, and how shutting yourself down from the world is not healthy. And there are instances where that may not be the case. But what you don't want to do is immediately when something arises, bring in the tribe. Because guess what? Guess what's in the tribe? If your tribe consists of 5 people, including yourself, those are, no matter how you all grew up, no matter how long you've known each other, no matter how long you all have done this or what you all have been through, those you all are 5 different individuals who had 5 different viewpoints. Even in the situations that you were in together, y'all had 5 different viewpoints. And y'all live 5 different lives that have 5 different point of views. And since every single person is different, we can have 100 things alike and in common. But each individual person is different. That's why fingerprints distinguish us from all. Each one of us is different physically, mentally, emotionally, etc. So what affects you in one way might not affect that person in another way. And what works for them may not work for you. So before you call on the tribe and add all of those different viewpoints into what you have going on, I would strongly urge the first thing that you do when you're deciding, okay, I want to heal. Not cut off everybody. That's not it. What you may want to do, or what you may want to try doing, is actually taking the time to put down on paper what it is that is eating at you, what it is that's hurting you, what it is that you're struggling with. Just simply make that list and that list alone. It doesn't have to be long and drawn out. It doesn't have to be in any specific type of format. It could be where you were just journaling. It could be where you actually took the time to say, okay, I am going to make a defined list. I've talked about it before. Um, and you'll be amazed at the one or two things that one thing that's initially going on right there in that moment that you were so focused on. But when you go make a list, you make that list and you start thinking of other things that you probably could, and then you realize that if I work on this thing, and I work on this thing, and I work on this thing, it'll make this thing up here at the top more manageable for me. It'll give me more light, it'll give me more perspective if I work on this thing and I work on that thing. It's an amazing healing is really self is really self awareness and a self enlightening that can't be compared to what somebody else says is what's right for you. If you've ever say I say I have had and have a say someone that I talk to that is a licensed professional. And one thing that I learned from that licensed professional is that they never tell you what it is that you're supposed to do. They never tell you what to do. And part of being the heroine in your own story is being able to sit down and dissect your emotions. And if you can't, seek out the help of those people who can teach you how to do that. I've been looking on social media and there's a clip going around. There's a clip going around of a young lady talking about how she's just done with it all. She does not want to date. A lot of different people were stitching the video, etc., etc. I made sure that I uploaded to my TikTok and the stitch that I made to it. But a lot of times we get so wrapped up in showing people who we are, where we are, what we're doing, that we miss out on taking the steps that we really, really need to take in order to be better. And those same people that we go out of our way, the people that we go out of our way to try to show, look at me. Look at how much I'm thriving. Look at how much I'm advancing. Look at how much I'm growing. Look how much further past you I am. And that's whether it's with the change in a friendship, a romantic relationship, what have you. Like we be so wrapped up in focusing on showing people where we are and how great we're doing and where we're going and how wonderful it's moving, that we stop doing the actual work to get there. We spend more time in front of a camera trying to document the good moments, that we stop doing the work to actually heal internally from those not so pleasant moments. I won't say bad because there's levels to bad. There's levels to that. There's levels to things that hurt you or what can hurt you. And since each individual varies so much, that's why immediately going to your tribe it's a natural thing. Don't get me wrong. As soon as something goes wrong in my world or something throws me off, the first thing I do, I'm telling Siri. I'm telling Siri, hey, FaceTime so and so, call so and so. Sometimes I've done it so fast that I didn't even give myself a chance to sit in and figure out what went wrong. Sometimes I haven't even given myself the chance to figure out where it went left, where it went so wrong. We look at celebrities all the time and we, follow their content and what they got going on and their relationships and all of that stuff. We'll focus on it. We'll be able to give a whole synopsis on why so and so and so and so ain't together no more, just based off their social media. Guess what? We do the same thing with one another. And with the whole tribe mentality, I've never been a clique girl. I've never been a clique girl. I've always been the one that moved around between cliques and groups, etc. Because my interest always expanded outside of one in particular thing. I've always been a well-rounded person. But the reason why I stray away from cliques is for the exact reason that I specified when I called it a tribe. We tend to take on the personalities of the people around us. And one thing about healing and is to actually have self-awareness, to be able to say, this is who I am. This is who I am. Step one is taking the time to sit in it and actually acknowledge what it is that you're going through, to be able to actually define what it is that you're going through to the best of your ability. The second thing is identifying yourself, identifying who you are in that moment, not who you want to be, but who you actually are, and being honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself. I know I struggled a long time with being honest with myself. I knew who other people told me I was. I knew the things that people liked about me, the things that people said were great about me. I knew those things, but I didn't know those things about me. I didn't feel those things about me. And I get accredited a lot of times with redefining myself and who I am. But that wasn't necessarily the case. I never redefined myself. What it is that I never took the time to actually define myself. I know that a lot of times people can see things in you that you don't even see in yourself. That is a very true statement. But until you believe it, someone can tell you something 1,000 times. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to resonate with you. So what you actually have to do is say to yourself, okay, who am I? Who am I right now in this moment? Because determining who you are right there in that moment, when you are down, when you are stressed, when you are tired, when the walls are falling down, defining who you are in that moment, in that broken moment, is what gives you your genuine starting place. A lot of times when we when people talk about defining who you are, what they start is all the things that you want to be, all the things that you can be, all the things that you should be. No, that's not the starting point. The starting point is determining and accepting honestly who you are in that broken moment. You can say, you hear the people that say, I realize I'm a warrior. And then 2 weeks later, a month later, 2 months later, 2 years later, you fall. You fall into the same traps that you were in previously. And you're trying to figure out what happened. It's because you didn't define who you were in that broken moment. You didn't define who you were in that moment and start from there and start building yourself from there. The warrior is where you want to be, but in that moment, that's not where you are. It's a real process. It's a real process. So defining who you are, and then the third step is noting where you want to be. And don't give yourself no time frame. Don't give yourself no time frame. That the third step is knowing where you want, is defining and let's say where you want to be. Who do you want to be? What do you want to add to who you are in order to be that person or to have those things? What are you willing to do? You, just you on your own. Like I'm saying, being the heroine of your own story. Who are you willing to sacrifice in order to have those things? That end goal, that third step goal that you set. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to change within you? What are you willing to work on? What are you willing to seek help for in order to achieve those things? Defining who you are, sitting in it, number one, sitting in it in order to define what's going on around you. Even if you don't necessarily understand it, being able to say, this is what's happening to me. Two, being honest with yourself about who you are in that moment. Three, setting a goal for who you want to be. Because you know what ends up happening more often than not while we're on our journey to where we say we want to be, we actually find out who we are. And once you find out who you are, step forward, once you know this is me, and you accept this is me, then that's when you're able to efficiently set your boundaries and stand with them. That's when you're able to separate yourself or say from problematic situations and problematic people. That is when you're able to legitly be able to say that you were in a different place than you were. Because if you don't honestly acknowledge where you were, if you're never able to honestly acknowledge where you were, where you are or where you say you are, there's no quantifying, there's no quantifying additive to it. There's nothing for you to go back and pull from when those familiar situations arrive. You'll see that it's familiar, but you know what you're going to do? You're going to go back to that person that you actually were, other than the person that you wanted people to believe you were. I get real discouraged when I see people who go from I can't make it to I'm here. I worry for those people. And everybody's journey is different. Everybody's voyage is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way to determine where somebody's at as far as getting better or getting over a situation. Especially when there is deep trauma attached. There's no way to determine it. But before you get ready to share that with others, I just feel like we have more of a responsibility to be transparent, to not be so pretty, to not be so polished, to not, because when you were going through your stuff, you were not polished. When you was laying in that bed, now I ain't saying get up nowhere and be snotty nose crying on the internet. That ain't what I'm saying. Not even in the least bit. But Pretending as if you were hurt but unaffected, that's where I draw the line. If you're gonna actually allow people into your space and into your world and show them your journey, then show them the journey. Don't show them the trips. Don't show them the dinners. Don't show them the planned, unplanned, impromptu, rehearsed things. Don't show them that. I literally get on here and I just talk. Every recording night. I get on here and I talk. When I do seminars and do speaking engagements, I find out what the topic is. I find out how what I do fits into that topic, and I get up there and I share. I get up there and I share. And a lot of times we're so people don't need the finished product. People don't need the finished product with a hashtag in a catch line. People need to know where you started. How the thing say on TikTok, where it started, how it's going, where it started and how it's going. Because it's not the end. We're going to grow, we're going to mature, we're going to get into different spaces, we're going to maneuver into different spaces, and there are going to be things. There are going to be things that are repetitive in our world because of the career we choose, the company that we keep, things of that nature. There are things that are going to arise. You're going to be, you can switch your whole friend group. You can go switch your whole friend group and then encounter the same exact dramas and situations that you did in the friend group that you left. Healing is not about discarding and changing everything around you. It's about how you handle the changes. Believe it or not, there are a whole bunch of people. One of the biggest reasons that people don't stay employed like they should and why people don't stay on jobs. I know all those different talking heads have all these different reasons for why people don't stay at jobs, why people are always moving and going here and going there. It's because they can't handle any type of change. And a lot of job hoppers, the reason why they're hopping jobs is because they're looking for that familiar feeling that they had previously or when they were the most comfortable. It's just like a drug addict. A drug addict is always, the reason why they become a habit is because they're always chasing that first high, that original high. They're always chasing it. But it's impossible to get because your body naturally builds up a tolerance. Same thing with jobs. Your body builds up a tolerance for BS. Your body builds up a tolerance. So you're looking for that initial experience, that experience that you love so much, but you may never ever find that again. And the answer, even in your personal relationships, the answer isn't to just completely discard what you know. It's learning ways in order to manage within the spaces that you already know. I posted a little over a week or two ago about the safest space I ever encountered was my own peace. But to get there and to have that place of peace, it took work. It took time. There wasn't any quick fix for it. I could pray, I could holler, scream, I could lay on my face, I could talk to whoever I wanted to talk to about it. I could confide in whoever I wanted, but the peace that I have within myself, I watched on social media, men and women, hollering about somebody being their peace. They're still doing it. You're going to come across, you go to TikTok, you're going to come across anywhere from 50 to 60 posts if you scroll long enough where people are talking about they want somebody who's going to be their peace. Men and women both say it. Want somebody to be my peace. I heard Will Smith say probably 10 years ago that he couldn't make anybody happy. In order to be happy, you have to be happy. You have to make you happy and try your best not to insert anyone else into your life that is going to threaten that happiness. If it, only allow people in your life that help you to expound on your happiness, to grow your happiness. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be negative things that happen. That doesn't mean that there aren't going to be harder times. But you got to be happy yourself. You have to be happy with yourself. That's peace. Everyone should be able to go into themselves and have a quiet space with all the ruckus, with all the rigmarole that goes on in daily life. I mean, it's constant. It's constant. I'm an Aquarius. My brain is constantly moving. If I do not set to say I am going to rest, I will be up all day, all night for multiple days at a time, honey. For multiple days at a time, shoveling through all the things that go on in my mind. But taking the fact that that does happen, that means that I have to find a place of peace within myself. And I mean, I ain't no Bible thumper, but I trust God to protect that place for me. And with trusting God to protect that place for me, that is why my gift of discernment is so strong. Because I'm not relying on others. You can't rely on others for your peace. You can't rely on others for all of your guidance. There has to come a point in your life where you say, I am responsible for me. There has to be a time in your life where you intercede for yourself. There has to be a time in your life where you're willing to speak for yourself. Stand in that gap for yourself. I know that it sounds selfish. It sounds selfish. But if you're gonna be selfish, shouldn't it be with your peace of mind? Shouldn't it be with your body? Shouldn't it be with your peace? Shouldn't it be with your gifts? If you're gonna hone anything or you're gonna protect anything, shouldn't it start with you? Because I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, let's keep it a whole book. If you don't see the value in those things within yourself, it makes it a whole lot harder to see the value of those things in others. If you don't love yourself, you can have love for another person. You can appreciate another person. You can have gratitude to another person for something that they do for you. But do you actually love them? It starts with you. You know how many people go into relationships, and I'm going to speak from my own because I date men. A man loves a woman. He loves you. He loves you. He loves everything about you. Everything internally, externally. He just loves you. But all you can do is pick out all the things that or speak on all the things that you want to change and you want to update and you want to upgrade. Whether it's your body, whether or not it's your education. You're always talking about those things. That shows the level of love that you have for yourself. And it's all in the delivery of how you express wanting those things. There should be a certain level of excitement as far as improving yourself. There should be a level of excitement. If there's no excitement, that's loathing. That's loathing. And we have to be more able to be able to understand and to be honest and say, as it's me wanting this, is me wanting this in order to better myself, or is this me wanting this because I saw it somewhere and I think it might make things better? You see how those two things sound different? But number one, being able to be honest and sit in your situation. Two, being able to identify who you are in those tough, difficult moments. Being able to identify who you are and where you are. Three, setting goals and saying, okay, this is who I want to be. This is who I want to be. I'm not going to announce that this is who I am right now. Because right now, that's not the person that I am. I'm not the heroine of my own story. I am not doing things to better myself. I am not doing things in order to grow past this situation. Being able to be honest with yourself and the people around you and say, I am hurting. I am confused. Then number three, setting the goal to say, but this is where I want to be. Step four, looking for the resources, seeking out resources in order to get you to where you need to be. Whether that be a combination of things or one or two things that you know you are definitely lacking. But doing the work. If healing was really a snap your finger type of process, no one would ever be hurt. No one would ever be hurt. We have to get out of, and I'm gonna talk to ladies because I am a woman. And as far as relationships, ups and downs, changes, ladies, we have to get out of the victim mindset that someone did something to me. He did something to me. We have to get out of that mindset. Cause like my good sis on TikTok said, sometimes we be talking about a dude who did something to us, and we were never even in an actual relationship. We weren't in a committed relationship from the beginning. We were in a relationship, but it wasn't a committed one. Um, that's when identifying where we actually are and who we actually are is so important, because you can say that you're healing from a romantic relationship that was never romantic, that was never committed. You're taking steps to heal from something that you never experienced. That's wasting your time. We talk about other people wasting our time. That is wasting our time. The experience itself wasn't a waste of time, whether it was good or bad. That's not what was a waste of time. What was a waste of time was misdiagnosing ourselves and not seeking out real help, real enlightenment, we say, real conversations. That was a waste of time. You can't be healing from what your baby daddy did when y'all first broke up back in 2007, in 2023, telling people that you got relationship hurt when you were never in a relationship. Identifying who you are in that moment when the things happen, or who you were in the moment when those things happen, is what's going to get you to your real healing. It's the honesty. It's the honesty. I'll give y'all another example. Every single superhero movie, there is a moment where that superhero has to be honest with themselves about how the situation got to where it got. And when they have that moment, like, this is what happened. I was the cause of this. Because Superman, for instance, because I wouldn't let the Kryptonians come and take over the earth. Superman versus Batman. Let me go back. Because I waged an all-out war, even though it was with the right intention. I waged a whole all-out war that killed millions of people, tore down buildings, etc. Because I did this. Now Batman sees me as a threat. I have to be honest. Clark Kent, Superman, to be honest with himself and be like, I caused this. I caused this. This is me. So now I gotta fix it. You have to be able to be honest with yourself. Accept accountability for the part that you played in whatever situation arises. And if by chance you really did not play a part at all into what the situation was, give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. Let it go. Let it go. Not everybody has to rise from the ashes. Every situation isn't a rise from the ashes type situation. Remove the drama from it. Remove the emotion from it. And say, this is what it is. This is what it is. Be honest so that you can get where you need to go in whatever time it takes for you to get there. And I promise you, over the course of your journey, there are going to be people that do things. There's going to be places you go that are unpleasant. There's going to be experiences that you have that are unpleasant. But part of being the heroine of your own story is being able to say, even though I went through these things, I made it. And I didn't have to go through it the same way that I went through it before. Because I have avoided it, or because I'm able to get through it in a different way, I don't even experience those things no more. Because real healing shows without you ever saying a word. You don't have to tell people that you're healing when you're healing. It's written all across your face. It illuminates from your body. You can have the same wardrobe, same hair, be the same size, go to the same places, and people will be able to see it and feel it. And that's what I'm going to leave y'all with tonight. That's what I'm going to leave y'all with. True healing is not what you see. It's what you and the people around you feel. It's something that's undeniable. It's something that you can't, even if you try to downplay it, you won't even be able to downplay it. People won't tell you, "Ooh, girl, you look good." That won't be the first thing. I can, "Ooh, girl, you look good. Girl, you look good. Girl, you girl." I can make myself look good. I can make myself look apart. That don't take nothing but a couple of costume changes and some makeup. I can make myself look any other kind of way. When I knew that it was different and that my world was different with the way that people handled me. They didn't have to say a word. My interactions with people changed. The way that people interacted with me changed. The way that people approached me changed. People that know me all my life. It became different. Because what I had coming from the inside of me wouldn't allow it to be any other way. So keep that in mind as you say, and be the heroine of your own story. You're the author, you're the director, you're the producer. Nobody has to stand in to help you write your script. Nobody has to. People can, but nobody has to. You don't necessarily need a production assistant. And if you do have an assistant allowed, they are there to assist, not to lead. Did we get that? The director's assistant is there to assist, not to lead. That was for the people in the back. But say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you need some encouragement, I mean, I know a lot of y'all watch Tyler Perry stuff. Y'all can get y'all little chuckle, y'all little silly chuckle, because it's not like hardcore funny. It's like silly, goofy, funny with the actual storyline and plot. But check out. You need a little bit of encouragement. Watch some time. Watch some Tyler Perry, not them shows. Not them shows. Take you too long to get to where you need to get to. Watch some of the movies. Download one of the stage plays. Shouts out to Tyler Perry also, by the way. Yo, BTFBH1. Like I say, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you can get notifications letting you know when the next episode will be airing. Make sure that you follow me on all of my social media platforms, which are all Life According to Cree, with the exception of Twitter. Twitter is LA2Cree. Follow me. I post content on all of them, as well as links to my website and my products. Make sure that you check out my Amazon storefront, which is also listed under Life According to Cree. Get you some different things. If you see me out and about, if you see me online, you see me take some pictures, you like, dog, wait, that's cute. It probably came from Amazon. If it didn't come from Amazon, trust me, there is a link and it links to where I actually got it from. So you ain't got to ask me where I got that from. Check out my platform. Swear it's all that. You ain't even got to holler at me. I mean, even if you want to steal my style, you can do that without even contacting me. Like I said, thank y'all. Good night. See you next week. Love y'all. Bye. Life coaching is not a substitute for therapy. If you feel like you need help or someone to talk to, please see the link below for help in your area.